Greetings and salutations, everybody. My name is MiAh the King, and today we are looking at a little game that just came out yesterday called Stone Shard. Now, this game is developed by Inkstains Games and published by Hype Train Digital, who you might know also published the game The Wild 8. The developers also developed something called 12 is Better Than 6? I don't know what that is, but it looks like a game, so yeah. Anyway, today we're doing a First Impressions review video. What's that? Well, it's not quite a First Impressions and not quite a review. I play the game between 1 and 2 hours and then judge the game on its merits to thus decide if it's worth its asking price. If it's not, I get a refund. If it does, I keep it. Then I let all you amazing viewers out there know my opinion and see if you agree with me or not. I don't discriminate. There are some games that I normally just don't like and I'll ignore, like I'm sure a lot of you out there do. But if a game looks popular, or if it looks interesting, or if it's asking a lot of money, then I'll check it out and then let you guys know if it's worth its asking price. Because as someone who's been playing video games for 20 years, I have a pretty decent understanding of what is or is not a good game. Now then, Stone Shard, that's what we're looking at today. Now, what can I say about this little game? Oh, crap, right, almost forgot. I ain't telling you shit until you hit that subscribe button, or the like button, or just, like, leave me a comment or something. Come on.
The cages are unlocked.
I'm waiting.
And blood trail. Seems like I was the only one.
I told you I'm not going to. Did you do it? Awesome. Thanks. You're the best. And to those of you who didn't, for shame. Do you know how many small YouTube channels die because of people like you who won't hit like and subscribe? Be ashamed of yourselves. Ugh. Anyway, Stone Shard. Steam describes it like this. Stone Shard is a challenging turn-based RPG set in an open world. Experience the unforgiving life of a medieval mercenary, travel across the war-torn kingdom, fulfill contracts, fight, mend your wounds, and develop your character without any restrictions. Okay, so, how much of that is bullcrap, and how much of it is true? And if it is true, then just how true is it? Well, from my 100 minutes of playing, I'd say that that's pretty spot on. Now, the game starts off with you in a tutorial-like section playing as this cool, older, veteran-like guy who seems like he's seen some shit. Know what I mean? Anyway, from here you get to develop this guy however you like. Make him a fighter, a rogue, a wizard, a knight, whatever you want. Now, this is really cool. I love this. So, at this point in the game, I'm really enjoying it. You gotta travel around through this dungeon gathering loot, reading lore, discovering what happened here, and then pushing forward while developing your guy. Again, so far, I'm really enjoying this. It's intriguing, innovative, suspenseful, the sounds are really well done, even the voice acting is really well done. The combat and the movement is a little bit wonky. By the way, I want to apologize if I sound a little bit stuffed up. I'm coming down with a cold or something that's passing through here, thanks to my wife and kids getting sick, but I'm going to continue to push forward, so I apologize for that. But one thing about the movement, I wish there was click and hold to move your character, or, you know, something like that, because this whole clicking thing is off. Like, you click to tell him where to go, and he's going to go there automatically, but if you click again, he just stops instead of adjusting his course. So you have to wait for him to fully go to the place you originally clicked before clicking again, otherwise it's going to slow you down and just get on your nerves. I found myself clicking a whole bunch of times just to get the guy to walk down a damn corridor. But whatever, I can get over that, and I can move on, because so far, I'm actually surprisingly invested and intrigued with such a low graphics looking game. So, I continue on down these dungeons, following the paths, following the clues, collecting sweet loot, gaining levels and cool new skills. I chose to be a wizard, because I mean, magic is just freaking cool, am I right? Then after playing for about an hour, I get to the main boss of the dungeon. He was a bit of a beast, I'm not going to lie. He was tough. Took me 2 tries to figure out the niche on how to fight him. Is that the word? I don't know. To try to figure out the trick on how to fight him, right? And when I did, I still almost lost. But, you know, it was challenging. And it took me a couple of tries, but I was able to win and save my compatriots. Now, there's some more voice acting, some more story, some more intriguing stuff happening, and I'm actually thinking to myself, oh yeah, this is good. I'm really going to enjoy this game if it keeps going like this. And then It lets me down. After you clear that first dungeon, you cease playing as that main character from before. Instead, you have to pick a new character already customized and created by the developers, taking that fun away from you. You see, the ability to create your own guy isn't available in Early Access. Oh, did I forget to mention that? Yeah, this game is Early Access. But not only did you stop playing as that guy from before, but everything seems to be downgraded from the tutorial. The story is downgraded with how lame it is, the voice acting disappears completely, the cool loot is replaced by garbage, the cool skills and customizations are pretty much gone. I mean, it just turns into a giant disappointment. I mean, this threw me through a loop. I was stunned, annoyed, irritated, and now impatient all in the first minute after exiting the tutorial. So, all that work that I just got through doing was pointless. Hoarding all that fancy loot? Pointless. Customizing that guy and turning him into a wizard? Pointless. It was all just for the sake of the tutorial. Oh man, I cannot tell you guys how angry it made me to realize that all that cool shit from the beginning was now gone and worthless. The voice actor for the guy was cool. His backstory seemed cool. The ability to customize who he was by, how I played him was cool. And then to take all of that away and do this to me. Game devs, why didn't you just let me keep playing as that old man? You were almost perfect. At least then my main character would have had a voice. At least I'd already have some connection to him. I don't know, maybe you made it so that people could create their own mercs and play it that way, but you give us that option in the dungeon anyway with that old guy. I mean, you don't get to choose what he looks like or what his name is, but you get to choose his skills. You get to choose his gear. And if you're thinking, well, what about female gamers? Well, then how about in the very beginning, just give us a quick option in the beginning. I said beginning twice, but either way. Give us a quick option of choosing either to play as an old guy or an old woman. Then just let us continue the story parallel to each other, the exact same thing we just saw, but the difference is it's got an old woman or an old man, and we can just continue the story of that person from when they were in that jail cell. I mean, I love my old dude when I finished that dungeon. I had some sick loot, a bit of gold, fully customized guy. And, by fully customized, I mean like the first few basic skills of what I eventually intended to turn him into. But I mean, I was loving it. And you want to know why I'm so irritated by this right now? It's because, number one, I can't play as the character I want to play as, thanks to it being in early access. Number two, I can't create my own custom character. And number three, the guy I was getting attached to is now just a lame NPC quest giver. So, the first thing I had to do was choose a customized character, because the game developers wanted to go ahead and just make a character for us. First off, I chose to play as the female knight to try that out. I played the wizard in the tutorial, so I wanted to see if it would have been much different if I had played as a melee character with armor or something. But I died to the first enemy on the first quest. Awesome, game devs. Thanks. Then I started over, and I played as a sorceress. No male sorcerer, of course. That'd be too convenient. Even though that's exactly what I wanted, can't have it. But fine, I'll play a female sorceress, I was able to beat the dungeon with my male sorcerer during the tutorial, and I kind of have an idea of how they play, so I figured this might work better. So I went to the first quest, and, I was able to beat the first few guys in the mission. And then I suffered some serious head trauma, and my leg was pretty much shattered. And get this, the whole time I was going through this castle, I didn't find a single bandage, or healing salve, or splint. Like, the whole time I was exploring, didn't find a single one. So, with my broken leg and my serious head trauma, I put my little female character into a corner and just made her drink all the alcohol I had found, over and over again, to see what would happen. You see, here's where I was. With her busted up leg, she couldn't really move. She'd mostly be paralyzed in one spot. And if she would move, it'd be like 1 or 2 squares. Right? But then, with her busted up head, if she did manage to move, it was always in the wrong way, somewhere else from where I clicked. So even though I cleared the dungeon, I couldn't leave, couldn't move, couldn't even die. I was stuck at like 40 health. And I couldn't live. I was stuck in a perpetual limbo of idiocy. And I quit. So the game quickly goes from being awesome, intriguing, and thrilling to boring, dull, unfair, annoying, and cliche. I mean, it's just as cliche as Mountain Blade, where you start off alone with low stats, low skills, with a brief idea of what it is you want to do, all alone, trying to make your way in a war-torn land. I mean, it's basically the same freaking game as Mountain Blade. The only difference is, in Mountain Blade, you get to hire an army, and I don't know if you get to do that in this one, because I didn't play it long enough. Now, I hope that this game gets better. I'm not even going to get a refund, because I like what I saw, and I hope that one day, since it is in early access, that this game is going to get some of its issues fixed, and it's going to become a little bit better. I don't know, I don't get, what is it with these games that make its gameplay super hard? Is that the point? I mean, yeah, it is, but I don't care. I mean, if you want to play a game that's hard to play, fine, I get that. But, like, why can't I ever just get a game that's giving me an idea that I want that's not, you know, total deathmatch, struggle for every moment you play? You know, I don't play games to stress out. I play them to de-stress, to distract me from my problems in real life. I mean, the idea of being a mercenary in a war-torn medieval land where you can customize your character and their journey is amazing. I love it. But why is it every time I find a game like this, it's always got to be super hard? And it's not like I did anything wrong. I played the game exactly like the game told me to, and I still couldn't get past the first mission on 2 separate tries with 2 separate characters. It's simply too hard for an early mission game, devs. There's just too much micromanaging. The enemies have too much health, and they do too much damage to you. You have crap equipment, no gold, and crappy stats. Whether you're playing as a wizard or a knight, they still kill you all the same. You have no companions, it's you by yourself. No person in their right mind in the medieval ages who has no skills, no experience, goes and picks up a sword and suddenly challenges a freaking abandoned castle of bandits. They don't do that. You know why? Because they die. But do you offer us any abilities to train or recruit people or get stronger? No. Just go there, do that, and if you can't do it, you suck. Well, I don't agree with that mentality. I'm very much against it. So as I was saying, I tried to attack this castle, this abandoned castle, with 2 different types of characters, 2 different types of stats, 2 different sets of gear, and 2 completely different types of play styles. Yet I still couldn't get through it. But I gotta get off that, because otherwise I'm gonna keep ranting about that forever. Let's just quickly go over the good and the bad, and then my final thoughts, then my conclusion. So, the good. The idea is great. The voice acting is really well done when it's there. The customization is in-depth and interesting. The sounds are actually really good, and they fit pretty well too. From monster growls, spell sounds, and the music in the background, they all sound great. The game is stable, I never met a bug, and the game never crashed. And this game looks like it's going to give you dozens of hours of playtime and replayability, all for the low price of only $15. I mean, that's not bad. That alone is a pretty damn good positive right there. But now we go into the bad. The combat is lame. I'm sorry, but it is. It's kindergarten stuff. The graphics aren't great, but they aren't the worst. I mean, in fact, they work pretty well for this particular concept, but still, you know, it needs to be said. Some of the gameplay mechanics are a bit off. There are like 3 conditions of health. Healthy, injured, and oh my god, my life is over, someone chop off my leg so the pain will stop. But there are like 16 different ways to heal each freaking thing wrong that happens to you. Is your leg broken? Better have a splint. Is your leg bleeding? Better have a bandage. Does your head hurt? Better have some special medicine that helps you with pain. Oh, what's that? The pain medicine made you intoxicated? Well, you better take an antidote. What's that? The antidote made you thirsty? Better drink some water. What's that? The water made you hungry? Better eat something. What's that? The food made you happy? Well, it's about fucking time, you whiny little shit. And I'm not even joking about that, by the way. That's how it goes after every freaking battle. So you better hope to stock up on nothing but bandages, splints, healing salves, pain medication, and antidotes. Oh, and food and water, too. But guess what? That leaves no room in your inventory. Because it's so small, you won't be bringing back any fancy loot to sell and make some cash. And it doesn't help that items of the same type don't stack in your inventory. Even the first Diablo from 20 years ago got this freaking aspect right. I mean, it's too freaking much. Just pick one. Bandage or splint. And don't make us have to deal with pain medication if we have healing salves. And why the fuck does healing medicine make me intoxicated so I need an antidote for it? It defeats the fucking purpose. Okay. Sorry. I got a little bit agitated there. I had to put in more emotion into my words because I can't be loud because I am recording this very late at night and my kids are sleeping. But do you see what I mean? Do you see how frustrating it is? I didn't lie or exaggerate about anything I said. That's literally how it goes. I mean, I've played so many freaking games, and I have never seen a game with this much micromanaging of just healing yourself. Even Band of Brothers, that mercenary company game, go look it up, didn't have this much micromanaging bullshit in its healing process, and I thought that game was overly complicated and unforgiving. So, game devs, you gotta do something about that. You gotta shorten that or something. Take some stuff out or just something. I don't know. It's too much. When I can't carry back any loot because my inventory is stocked full of different medications, you've messed up somewhere. Diablo had one potion for health, one potion for mana, and it went on to make like 4 games. I mean, it doesn't help that items don't stack. I wanted to mention this again because it deserves it. The same items in your inventory don't stack. This is a standard mechanic in RPG or survival games, and this one is technically both. Yet if you have 3 bandages, they're going to take up 6 squares in your inventory, which is the same as a fucking staff. So if you're trying to tell me it's the realism of the game, and it's supposed to just explain everything away about why it's so hard to live, and why it's so hard to kill, and why you need so much to micromanage, then try to explain how 3 bandages take up as much space in my inventory as a staff. Because if you're going for realism, that right there just broke your argument. Damn it, I lost my place because of that stupid rant. Hang on. The healing system is bad, the combat is bad, the graphics are passable. That's pretty much it. The combat is bad, but it's not terrible, and the graphics fit for what they're trying to do. So I guess, mainly, the worst thing here is the inventory, items, and healing situation. But it's like really bad. You don't have enough space in your pack to carry a whole lot, and unless you're stuffed full of healing items, you're never going to get through a single mission. But then you go there, and you can't loot anything, only to come back for a pittance reward. It just doesn't seem worth it to me. But, I mean, everything else is fun, except for the combat. It's a little engaging, but everything else, I mean, if you could just change some things about the game, either let me create my own character, or keep playing as that old dude from the prison. And make the starter areas just a bit easier, would you? People are still learning the game. And you're level 1, so you don't have anything. I mean, it should only be just a little bit harder than the tutorial, not a whole other level of difficulty. And there's no fast travel. The traveling around is slow and awkward. And accessing your map is annoying. Hitting M doesn't pull it up. Sorry about that, my stupid cat decided to run over here. Well, what was I? Oh yeah, hitting M doesn't pull up your map. And the map doesn't even show where you are on it like every other decent game does. It's like the devs had a really good idea, but kept messing up crucial minor points. What they thought was in-depth, realistic healing and damage mechanics is actually really annoying, pointless micromanaging, which is unnecessary. What they thought was a realistic way to use a map is really inconvenient, since this is a freaking game and not real life. And the way they handle their inventory or other items is also awkward and weird and just annoying. It's not like they messed up on really big things, but they messed up on so many small things so badly that it's hard to ignore and just shrug it off. And the problem is, this game could have been really good. It could have been really great, rather. If they had, minimized the complications of healing, if they had made the game a little more evenly based between the player and the random NPCs you have to fight, and if they had continued with the voice acting and continued with, further development of your character, it could have been great right off the bat. I mean, honestly, the game is good, but it's really, really, really rough around the edges. I mean, if you think this might interest you, then go ahead and buy it. Hell, you might end up loving it for being super hard. I'm not going to return it, but I am going to wait a while to see what changes they make, because as it is now, I just can't play it in this state. I've tried. I can't create my own character. I can't clear the first freaking level. The item management is broken, and the healing and injury aspect is designed to drive you insane. So I'm going to wait a little bit, and I'm going to come back later to see if those things have changed, and I really hope they do. And hell, if you guys have some tips for me in the comments below, I would really appreciate it. Because like I said, I love the idea of this game, and I would love nothing more than to be able to sink 20, 40, 60 hours into this game really getting into it. I mean, I think that injury healing mechanic and the inventory management is absolutely the worst. In fact, I'd go so far as to say they're the worst mechanics I've ever seen in a video game of this type. If it's going to be an open world game with no fast travel and no manual save, then you need to have a decent inventory management system and a decent healing system. But they don't have that. And if you're going to have this kind of micromanaging injury and healing system, then you need to have more accessibility to those healing items or a better saving management system. Which they don't have. Because as it stands right now, you can only save at the inn in a bed. So if you spend 10 minutes or 20 minutes exploring a forest or fighting through a forest, then 20 minutes, 30 minutes fighting in a dungeon, then you die, you go all the way back to that inn and have to repeat the whole process, a whole hour of game time wasted. And since the game rarely gives you any kind of healing items, it's unlikely you're going to make it through the first dungeon or most dungeons alive anyway, thanks to that shitty little system. I mean, the game as it is currently is basically designed to kill you and only kill you and not really anything else. I'm not really into that. I'm trying to have fun here. I want to explore, to loot, level up, have an adventure, but I can't really do that with gameplay mechanics currently installed. Not with these ones. All it does is frustrate me. It showed me how awesome it is in the first hour of tutorial, then snatched all that away and gave me an incredibly hard, unfair, and rigid single-player experience. I don't have to give this game a rating because this isn't a deep dive review, but if I had to give it a rating right now based on my time, I'm going to give it a 6. It's above average. It's nothing good and it's nothing great, but it is above average. I think this is fair considering it's still in early access and with all the problems that I mentioned. I think if they can get items to stack in your inventory, maybe decrease how much micromanaging is necessary for the injury and healing aspect, and maybe spruce up some of the other interfaces like the map, fast travel, maybe a manual save, then this game could be an 8 easily. You know, have a hardcore mode, which they do. They have an Iron Man mode, where if you die, it's game over. So why don't you just include 2 modes, normal mode or default mode or whatever, and then Iron Man mode, where Iron Man mode is there's no fast travel, no manual saves, and you die, you dead, and stuff like that. And then the normal mode is like manual saves, you see yourself on the map, you can, everything's easier. If you die, you can reload. I mean, even, I've played tons of other games where they have things like that. I mean, look at XCOM. XCOM did it in both its games. So just do that. Make all the fans happy. Why only, market to one fan base? But if they did something like that, this game would easily be an 8, maybe even a 9 if you look at it in this particular genre. So, I don't know. That's all the thoughts I got for this one. This game, I think it angers me more than other games because I came into it expecting something awesome. I played it for an hour getting nothing but awesomeness, and then I spent the next 40 minutes after that hating the game. And it disappointed me and depressed me so much because it gave me a glimpse of something amazing that I really could have enjoyed for the next 2 weeks. But anyway, that's all the time I got for this one, you guys. I hope I was able to help you understand the game a bit more. I hope I either helped you make a good purchase or save some money, and I hope to see you on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you farewell.